Good evening and welcome to The Brief, where we give you updates and insight into key developments across the globe and Africa and Nigeria and what to expect in the new week. We begin with the story that Gulf carriers Emirates and Etihad Airways are extending the period of reduced pay for their staff until September this year as they try to preserve cash during the global coronavirus pandemic. The aviation industry has been among the worst hit by the outbreak, which has dented travel demand and forced major airlines to lay off staff and seek government bailouts. State airlines Emirates and Etihad have operated limited, mostly outbound services from the United Arab Emirates since grounding passenger flights in March. They are due to restart some connecting flights this month after the UAE last week lifted a suspension on services where passengers stop off in the country to change planes or for refueling. Dubai's Emirates told employees today it will extend a 3-month wage cut due to the end of this period until September 30th. According to an internal mail seen by Reuters, in some cases pay cuts will be deepened, with some basic salaries reduced by 50%, the email to Emirates Group employees said. The decision was made after reviewing all possible options to preserve its cash position, according to source. State-owned Emirates Group, which employed 105,000 staff as of March and includes the airline among its assets, did not immediately respond to an email request from the Reuters agency on developments further. Emirates had previously reduced basic wages by 25% to 50% for 3 months from April, with junior employees exempted. Abu Dhabi's Etihad Airways had extended its salary cuts of between 25 to 50% to September, a spokeswoman said, as it considered all options to protect jobs and preserve cash. The airline originally reduced salaries for the month of April. Etihad last week laid off some cabin crew and is not planning to do any further crew redundancies, according to the emails. ProShare, Nigeria's leading financial information hub, has launched the Coronavirus Report. This report presents a deep dive into the emerging realities of a new world economic order that strips away pretense about the growing outdated concept of globalization. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown that an integrated and tightly knit world would create lasting and catastrophic problems, and that nations may increasingly need to secure domestic supply chains by strong backward domestic integration. The potent Asianization of global supply chains has started to unravel as North America and Europe revisit their production links to China, the second largest economy. Emerging markets such as Nigeria have also had to take a step back to see how they can protect their economies from imported contagion of both a health and economic variety. The report makes a case for a new approach to fiscal and monetary policy management that it calls FixMon, which represents an integrated approach that sees monetary and fiscal management tied into a forward plan of action to achieve clearly stated objectives with a specified time frame. The report observes that this approach is becoming a global normal as central banks become more assertive in intervening in the push towards domestic economic growth and employment. Nigeria's resource mindset has stayed trapped in a past that is fast becoming a burden. Within the dynamics of the new COVID-19 inspired economy, fiscal policy is reduced to the task of bean counting, while monetary policy increasingly ascends to the status of country's premier macroeconomic policy driver. The recent ascendancy of monetary authorities has become a global event as new economic management frameworks adopted by nations blur the once solid line between the fiscal and monetary policy. As supply chains get disrupted and consumer spending power tells off, the trilemma of balancing growth, jobs, and low inflation has become a knot. The report looks at the traditional methods of handling macroeconomic disruptions and demonstrates why the old ways of doing things no longer suffice. The new reality of economic management takes off from a set of revised frameworks that underlie the ways new economies work. To get further insights, you can log on to our website www.proshare.com to read this incisive economics report. The Bureau of Public Procurement has published details of COVID-19 emergency procurement details for 3 ministries, departments, and agencies. The Federal Ministry of Environment. Under the Federal Ministry of Environment headquarters, about 489.1 million naira has been earmarked. The Federal Ministry of Health. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency has had 2,225 million. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has had 663.6 million. The Federal Ministry of Interior, the National Security and Defense Civil Defense Corps has had 250 million allocation. Further details of the breakdown provided by the Nigerian Open Contracting Portal, which you can visit through nocopo.pp.gov.ng/contract reports/COVID-19. On what to expect in the new week. During the week, we expect the National Bureau of Statistics to release some key economic data and reports, and Web TV will monitor and bring the updates to you as they come. The Web TV regular programs will continue during the week. On Wednesday, the 10th of June 2020, the Nigeria Stock Exchange, through its CEO, Mr. Oscar Onyema, will feature in a webinar focused on the theme Capital Markets in a Pandemic. This webinar will also feature some of the CEOs of the stock exchanges across the globe. This week, specifically on June 12, 2020, which is Friday, Nigerians will once again mark Democracy Day, which will be a public holiday but an opportunity to reflect on the nation's progress under a civilian government. The Emerging Africa Capital will host a webinar on Wednesday, June 10th, alongside the Economic Intelligence Unit, which will host its own on Thursday, June 11th. Data Science Nigeria also hold a machine learning session during the 10th of June, that's Thursday. And that will be all for this edition of The Brief, where we give you insights and analysis on developments across the globe and what to expect during the week. Continue to follow our website, www.prochng.com, to read our news stories and watch our videos and get our incisive reports and analysis. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching, have a nice day, and stay safe.